Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and gender queers. This goes out to all transgender people. It is a video where I would like to complain, but I don't want to just complain at you. I want to complain with you. Let's just for fun vent about how, on a physical level, there are all these little details that can be so, loud, you know what I mean? There's all these little details about being in the wrong form that even with hormone transition, you still can see and feel sometimes a difference. Sometimes. That is just sometimes. But it's really particular, and you see, it is particular in this way that transgender people can see, because we are searching. We're like searching and looking, and we see things. We see things about the human body, about men and women, that some men and women don't. And also, but I was thinking in particular, about, I was looking in the mirror. See, mirrors, they are trouble. You look too long, you see things. And I'm gonna say a blanket statement, okay? All people, if they're trans or if they're cis or whatever, all people have issues with their own physical appearance. Okay, that's just normal, that's just a given. But when you are trans, there's this extra layer, and that is what I'm talking about. And I'm just gonna tell you some funny little things that I notice about myself. First of all, my cheeks are huge. They are the hugest, most softest, most girly cheeks. I thought, and this is the thing, you think that when you transition, certain things might change, and you look forward to that. And then you're like, oh, I guess my genetics don't allow for that, or I guess it wasn't in the cards for me. And then you're like, bummer. Now I look like a man with chubby cheeks all the time. No, just kidding. But so, I mean, that's one example. So this cheeks thing, and the for the trans men, you know, I noticed this across the board. Well, you know, for a lot of different people, you know, very common things that stand out, that make us a little different than our cisgender counterparts or whatever. You know, sometimes we have these narrow shoulders and these wider hips, and it's not like the hips are a different size than a man, but it's the proportions of the shoulders to the hips. It's like, if the hips are wider than the shoulders, it just is not particularly manly feeling. And Wes actually made a great video with Dominic, I think. Anyway, where they're talking, they called this little kind of the hips, they called it the tutu. And that's very fitting. You know, there's just these bulges in the wrong places when you're trans sometimes. And I always think like, man, my head is so tiny. You know, it's like you can't make your skull bigger. I mean, to an extent, yeah, but you know, it's like, wow, cool, big jaw, and then it's like tiny head. And it's like little things like this. And I'd love to hear what trans women have to say. I know that getting rid of the beard can be so expensive and take so long, and then here I am just wishing mine was thicker and would come in and all this, and it's so funny, that whole flip. In fact, I wonder in the comments if you're trans, you know, look to see, are trans men and trans women just like complaining about a mirror thing of problems, which is just that's just amusing. See, this is about laughing at our problems today. That's helps us get through the hard times. But yeah, you think about like what would I have been like if I was just born correctly or normal, or what, you know, and certain things. I mean, I just pictured myself in a certain way, and it's just happening in a different way, and it's hard. Estrogen and testosterone affect the human body in different ways. It affects the way we form, we're growing and being shaped. The muscles and fat do redistribute with the use of hormones during hormone transition, but things like skeletal structure, just general skeletal proportions, placement of eyes, placement of mouth, cheekbones, blah blah, those things, you know, they don't change as much. hips are made in this way where the femur, for the women, the hips plug in sort of at this angle, and then men plug into their hips straight, so you know, you get this narrow straightness that's just more natural. It's funny because there are some transgender people born, and they just genetically, they happen to be like extremely feminine, small men that are actually trans women, and they change, and it's like, whoa, beautiful, wow. And then there's these really super athletic, like cut women who have these long kind of, they're always like, oh, she must be a dyke, oh, she's so masculine. And then they become men, and it's like, whoa, good looking, yeah. And then they're just like normal people with, you know, just run-of-the-mill genetics, and just, you know, switching over, trying to make the best of it. And we all have our little struggles. And doesn't it make you more compassionate? First of all, doesn't this all make you more compassionate for all the men and women out there struggling with their overly masculine or overly feminine features? You know, and society's pressures are riding pretty hard on everybody, and so our complaints are just, you know, jumbled all in with everybody else's. I mean, think of all the money that women spend on like little strips to get rid of unwanted hair, and all the different penis enlargers and pills for all kinds of things that men use just to get that little extra, you know, boost, or all these things. So I mean, we're all being run through the same little machine, and so in the end, looking at all the funny complaints, which I really can't wait to read, you know, we're all in it the same way. We just should be thankful for the health and the gifts that we do have, and it's okay to let loose and just cry about it, except you can't when you're a man. Just kidding. No, I was joking. Okay. But anyway, it's just fine to vent about it, because life is hard and little things add up and get to you. And yeah, so just everybody keep on keeping on, and see you again next time.